Hi, everybody. It's Christina Quick from the Profitable Business Academy, and I'm here with.
Madam Z, hello everyone. Brightest
Hi,
blessings.
happy in bulk
I know,
and
can you
happy
believe it?
New Year. We've got some really auspicious holidays going on right now. Did you do anything for in bulk yet? I saw that you had done a little Valentine's Day setup.
Yeah,
Super, super cute.
did the Valentine's Day. For me, I'm just gonna light a whole bunch of candles and set my intentions. And that's really all I'm gonna do for in book this year. I used to do
I
huge,
personally,
elaborate rituals,
yeah, yeah.
but for like 2025, for some reason, I'm like cleaning out stuff and I'm making stuff very powerful yet simple.
Hmm.
So that's what my path is, and what's changed. You guys do huge, elaborate ones, and
Yeah.
now,
Hi, Maya. Good to see you.
hello everyone, and
I
that's
feel
why.
like that's so like where we are with witchcraft right now. I feel
Mhm.
like over the last decade, it really just became so like mainstream and it all this energy got pushed into it. And so then all these businesses, these little micro witchy businesses started booming and
Yeah.
people started walking the path of the witch. And we almost kind of got flooded with witchcraft stuff. Where it
Mhm.
was, I don't know, but I feel like you and I have been I was looking at it and it was like there's almost 50 years of witchcraft experience here between the both of us,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
so you remember and I remember when you could hope and pray that you would walk into a library and find one
Mhm.
somewhat witchy book, you
Yeah.
know? And the information was totally obscured and this is all like pre-internet and all that kind of stuff. And then the
Mhm.
internet comes along and then we have Witch Fox, and that's kind of where we witches kind of entered the digital age,
Right.
right?
Back in the
Hey
day, we called.
Tanya, hey
Hey, Tanya,
April, good to see you guys.
Witch box. That's not even around anymore.
I know that's how you know it's the old.
It is. That's
Hi
how we used to
Ivy,
meet people and find our covens
yeah,
and
find the
festivals.
events, yeah.
Yeah.
But they had the Coven directory, and then they had the forums, and it was like for
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us, I mean, I grew up in a small little town in the middle of Arizona, and there was like, if there was a coven, it was definitely secret. There
Yeah.
was no, and so for us, like Witchbox and was our first official like virtual coven experience,
Mhm.
and how we could actually link up and talk because I mean, it's a really cool time to be alive right now because we're like sort of in this renaissance period where we're all united, no matter how far we are away from each other,
Yeah, it's
right?
great. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
And so this idea of joining virtual covens and being part of virtual covens is it's not a new idea. It's actually one of the first ways that we were able to connect.
Mhm.
And if you think about it, like over the last 10,000 years, right? Um, you would have to join covens in secret. You would have to be born
Yeah.
into them, or you would have to be shipped off to a sisterhood and join it,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
sacrifice your family and such. And
Yeah.
so we're in a really interesting time right now. So I would like for you to tell us a little bit about how you got into witchcraft, and then I'll tell a little bit how I got into witchcraft.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Madam Z here. And you may have seen me around with Christina, and you probably know me as Madam Z Tarot. So I started off doing tarot, still love tarot. Um, but I started out witchcraft a long time ago before pre-internet, right? And Christina talked a little bit about if you really wanted to know about witchcraft, you had to secretly go into the basement, try to dig for that one or two books in the back corner, sneak it out, make sure if you go check it out, no one's around you, kind of like sneak it to the, while you get all the stares from the librarian, I'm like, what the hell are you doing, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and then you had to really search out either a mentor or a coven. Now, for me, this was back in the day when it was taken very seriously. There wasn't really a lot of self initiation back then when I started. You had to have a mentor for a year and a day.
Mhm.
You had to dedicate your entire life to your practice. you had to, for me personally, I had to spend every Sunday with my mentor and with my high priestess, and she would interview to see if you're a right fit and for, to take you on as a student. If you're a right fit for the coven, you were first an outsider, the outside circle, and you had to study a year and a day. You had to teach, you had to take tests, you had to pass, tests and pop quizzes is what we used to call them, kind of thing. You had to show that you knew how to run circles, how to do rituals, how to call quarters, all that stuff. So self-initiation wasn't a thing when I did it. And your coven becomes your sisterhood. We would meet at least every week on Sundays, Sabbaths for us, and then on all of the high holidays also. And full moons. So we were inundated with every month we had moon rituals, Sabbath, Esphats, coven stuff going on. So that was my entire life, and that was your life. You dedicated your life to your practice. Mm-hmm. And as far as practice goes, it's more about everything you do becomes your life, and you see magic in everything, in the power of the universe. And instead of just doing this fly-by witchy kind of thing, which, it's great to have tarot cards and it's great to, light a candle on the full moon. But when you dedicate your entire life through the first degree, second degree, third degree, high priestess, mentoring, your life becomes a witch. And that's, where I am right now. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. Ran rituals, took on mentors, took on students, classes, events, retreats. So with all of my experience and Christina's experience combined, we have really just balanced each other out and are really sharing what works for us. And we'd like to bring that to you. So that's kind of where we're at with the Blackthorn Coven, in which we're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth. And that's why we're here today. And for the people who showed up today on the live, we want to give you creds to showing up on live and sharing this time with us.
Actually, it's a really brave first step. So, yeah. April says, you're speaking of Wicca, and actually, yes and no. Back in the day, there really wasn't the distinction that we have today.
Correct.
Okay? You had Wicca, and then you had sort of like these theological sects or orders like Golden Dawn or,
right.
Aleister Crowley's type of thing, which was more
Alexandrian and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then, Wicca back then was basically just a carbon copy of Catholicism, but adding in the feminine forces to that as well. There wasn't the distinction that we have today. Today, Wicca and witchcraft are we understand them now as to be two completely different things. But
I started off Wicca, and that's what
I think most of us do.
Yeah. But once you start knowing yourself and finding the energy that resonates with you, if everybody else probably is like how we are, we're not in our craft where we started. I'm not a Wiccan. I started off Wiccan because at that point in time where I was at and the covens that were available to me, that's really all there was Wiccan. So, I often wonder if we had other paths available to us, which one I would have picked.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
I think Wicca is just the most approachable, fluffy Care Bear version of witchcraft. And so it's like safe and they're okay with talking about it. Whereas in like the Coven we're producing and putting together and these other more secretive traditions, they're secret for a reason. And they don't share their knowledge outside of the Coven.
No.
And so finding them, they're elusive, absolutely elusive. And so I think most people go with Wicca first, just simply because it's most readily available and they take anybody, right? They're like Christians. They'll take anybody, you know?
They're like, come on, leave Christianity. We'll take y'all in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want So I remember my whole childhood was the first few formative years of my life. I always wanted to dress up as the princess for
Mhm.
like Halloween, or I wanted to be a princess, you know. And then I realized that you could be the witch. And so it fundamentally, since I was a very, very early on, probably 4 or 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a witch and I was obsessed
Mhm.
with witches.
Mhm.
And so then I grew up and I remember it sounds so silly and so corny, but I used to every time I would see a meteor or an wish upon a star, you know,
Mhm.
I would say, "I wish I could be a witch. I wish
Mhm.
I could have a book of shadows. I wish that I could find a coven. I wish I could be a witch." And that
Mhm.
was my wish all the time. That when I got home, there would be a book of shadows, like in the movies, sitting
Yeah.
on my bed waiting for me. The magic would just be there waiting for me. And I
Mhm.
wanted so strongly to believe in that. And it wasn't until I was about 12 years old in 1998 that I was in this media store where they sold like CDs, books, you know,
Mhm.
rent movies, that kind of stuff back then. And I just happened to kind of wander off and I found the smallest little occult section you ever did see,
Mhm.
but it had like one tarot deck, two books, and that was like it.
Yeah.
And I the book was Teen Witch by Silver Ravenwolf.
Yeah.
So that and oh, I think it was the Satanic Bible, Silver Teen Witch, and like the Mythic
Mhm.
tarot card deck. Like
I'm
that was your
surprised
option.
they
Yeah.
even had the Satanic Bible out there. I'm
Yeah.
surprised about that.
Yeah. My mom was like, "No, no Satanic Bible,
Yeah.
but I will get you Teen Witch." Because my mom, she's really cool. She's always been kind of open. She's always been kind of a hippie about things, right?
Mhm.
She doesn't she you know, she believes in everything and nothing at the same time. So
Yeah.
luckily I was not um luckily I was not brought up in religion. I know that that's a source of pain for a lot of people, and that's something we're going to talk about today too.
Yeah.
Mindy says you were waiting for the owl to fly from Hogwarts and give you the Book of Shadows. I was ready. I was so ready for that. And
Mhm.
so then from there, I looked and tried to find covens and couldn't find anything, and looked online, but it was all kind of weird stuff and not real. And I didn't really understand how to use witchcraft in more of a tangible way
Mhm.
until I found Teen Witch, and then it had a couple spells in it, like some really fluffy spells, like a healing spell with an egg and things like that.
Yeah.
And I remember the exact moment I knew that I was a witch. So I lived out in the middle of the Arizona desert, right, where it never rains. And
Mhm.
so I was like, the first spell I'm ever going to do is going to be a rain spell because if I can
Mhm.
make it rain in the desert, then I'll know that I'm a witch, right? Like I was trying to
Mhm.
prove to myself. So it was a really simple spell. Like you just fill a bowl full of water and then like did your finger in it clockwise a
Mhm.
couple ways and then you said some kind of incantation. Very,
Yeah.
very simple. And I remember I used to walk home from school every day, several miles, and I remember walking home from school, like, it wasn't the next day, but it was, like, within that time period, within a
Mhm.
reasonable time period, I felt the first drop on my arm, and I'm like, "I'm a fucking witch," you know?
I made
And
it
I'm like, "I'm a
rain.
witch." And so from that point, I was probably 13, 14. At that
Mhm.
point, I became obsessed, and everything I wanted to do or read about involved witchcraft or supernatural. And I was just mesmerized by the magic of it and realizing that, okay, maybe we can influence our reality. And that was my first step to like going into things like law of attraction, manifestation, you know, attracting money, business success, and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And so then from there, I started working with, and I enrolled in that first degree with the witchschool.com, right? Was the High Corellian nativist tradition, which is like Catholicism, Wicca, and Native American spirituality kind of like merged together, and a little bit of Italian witchcraft too, a little bit of Strega in there too. So that was my first real introduction to like an actual structured course where like you said we had to take specific courses, there were
Mhm.
tests that we had to take, there were
Mhm.
monthly mentorship sessions where you would have to go and hang out with a mentor and they would have to help you through your
Mhm.
stuff if you weren't, or ask you why you weren't able to work through it, or stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I got through like the first one, which is basically level one, was understanding about the dynamics of energy, like feminine, masculine, how to cast a circle, basic psychic protection, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then I got just about all the way through the second level, which was
Yeah.
priestess training,
Mhm.
where you start how to call the porters.
Mhm.
You start learning how to do the invocations and do more of the like where you'll allow the energies to embody you,
Oh, yeah.
right? And just
Breathing the energy. Mhm.
and so what happened was the website went down for like a year, and
Mhm.
I was then stuck. I had nowhere to go from there. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's where my path fundamentally shifted
Mhm.
away from Wicca and into looking at out there and searching for, in my early 20s, maybe a different path,
Mhm.
right? Traditionally, I think we all kind of get into it. We're like, one day we want to own our own coven and we want to have our own place where we have that. Want to have our own church and we want to do all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like, all want to become like a reverend or
Yep.
a priest or priestess. And then I think a lot of us realize we don't want to do that, right? And
Mhm.
so
It's
we
a
want
lot.
to, huh?
Leading, it, being a leader, and it takes on a lot of responsibility and a lot of energy protection, and people don't realize why.
And I think that you and I are in a good, and how you and I met actually was we have both been in covens and in and out of
Mhm.
covens and local and also in person, and lots of different traditions we've gone and trained in and learned
Mhm.
about. And so you and I actually met in another person's coven.
Yes.
And so that's where me and Z met, and that's where we started
Mhm.
working together. And this was, no kidding you, like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
probably 8 years
Mhm.
ago. Yeah. So a long time ago. And so for probably the first 3 or 4 years, we were just friends that
Mhm.
just were in the coven together, and we were just building our relationship. And
Yep.
then you decided that you wanted to start a business. So then you started taking some of my business courses and joining
Mhm.
my business academy. And so that you started learning the business side of it. And then you were setting up the witchcraft side of it. And so then I started taking some of your witchcraft stuff. And so then we started, forming this Uber version of ourselves where
Yeah.
we're both business masters and we're both witchcraft masters at this point,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
And so then what was it? How long have you been here in Missouri now?
3 years, I believe. Around
Years?
3 years.
Okay.
Mhm.
So 3 years ago, I had the surprise of my life when you said, "I'm thinking about moving to Kansas City." That's where I am. And you were in Texas. And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, we'll see," you know? You're like, "Yeah, I really, well, we're looking at different places, but I'm thinking about moving to Kansas City." And I'm like, "Okay." You're like, "I'm coming to Kansas City. I'm gonna go look at houses. Let's meet up." And I'm like, "Okay." We're getting
Mhm.
serious now. And so 3 years ago, that's 3, 4 years ago, that's when we started taking our relationship, not just virtual, but in the physical
In person.
as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so we've been hanging out for the last, 3 or 4 years
In
and
person.
in
Mhm.
person. And I've been going to your retreats,
Mhm.
and we just went out to have a fabulous, luxurious dinner back at the
Mhm.
winter solstice when we got together.
Yep.
We're gonna have another get together at the end of this month.
Yep.
So we've been hanging out and we've been talking. And I think the thing that mostly came up for you and me as a source of like pain for us both is that we didn't really feel like there was any covens out there that still kind of captured the essence of the old traditions of the
Mhm.
initiation series, going
Mhm.
through the psychodramas and things like that. Because all of the new covens, and I'm not trying to like rain on anybody's parade, but all these new witches, they're younger and they don't have the experience that we had back in the
Right.
day pre-internet, right?
Right. Mhm.
And it has taken us 20 years each to get to a point, I think, where we felt like we would even consider
Yep.
doing a role like this, right?
Yep. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And our coven is going to be, and if anybody, I'm looking at my page too. If anybody has any questions, Make sure you type it in. I know Christina's looking at questions too, and so am I. And another reason why we wanted to really bring in witches, certain type of witches, is because, lack of a better word or better phrase, we were kind of tired of the fluffy bunny stuff. We wanted to bring in the dark, powerful energy of the dark feminine. And I really don't know a lot of covens that concentrate on that. Most of them are all fluffy bunny, all light and love, and and we started off, we were good. We did all that. But that's not where we're at right now, and that's not the kind of energy that we want to bring into this coven that we're forming. We want to help heal the witch wound. We want to work with the dark moon. We want to work with the power that's been hidden within you and bring that out, as horrible as that is, as traumatic as that is. We want to create something that is healing, a safe place for everybody to say, hey, I'm interested in working with the dark goddess, with Kali, with Lilith, with the Morgan, whatever it is, or I want to learn more about demons. I know demons has a negative connotation and everybody freaks out about it, but secretly I know some of you are like,
Yeah.
This is what this coven is about. Because me and Christina have talked about this for a long time. We're like,
A very long time.
A very long time. We don't want to do fluffy bunny. There's plenty of those out there. That's not what we are. We want to work with the powerful dark energy where our roots are at. So we can, create that energy as far as where the witch wound comes out from. Why are you afraid of being powerful, that divine powerful energy that comes from working with the dark moon, comes from, the depths of the darkness where everything grows and becomes more powerful, and those roots are set. And I haven't seen a coven like this at all that really spends time with that dark goddess energy where the root of your power comes. Mm-hmm. Everybody can do all light and love. That's easy. That's the easy witch. But right now we want to work with the hidden powers that are within you that maybe you suppressed from the witch wound of your ancestors. Maybe for me, it's funny because I did a past life regression several times, and I have a lot of past lives, but I have a fear of deep water, and so I was actually a witch that was made to walk the plank with my child at the time, and I was thrown overboard, which is why I have a fear of, this is so odd to say, that's why I don't want any children. I've never wanted any children, and I just don't connect with children because I had that deep connection with the child that was taken away from me and murdered. So this is about self-discovery, right? And healing that part of you that's been oppressed by the man, if you want to call the man, the man. Or
patriarchy.
Yeah, patriarchy. Fear of being known, fear of being, living your life out loud, fear of standing up for yourself because in the past life you've been persecuted or you've been murdered or, stoned or drowned or whatever it is. And if you haven't healed that, that's going to resonate and be more present in your life today. Then you can actually look at it and say, oh, well, no wonder I feel the way I do, because where we really want to talk about where your deep-seated fears come from of fully living your life as a witch out loud. And it's okay. This is what this coven is about, is bringing your dark side into light and healing that, but not letting go of the darkness. And I don't know about you, Christina, but I don't like the word heal, because the word heal makes you feel like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
It's not.
I can relate to that because the way I feel is that the witchcraft that we have today has been kind of hijacked by this idea that you can just kind of turn the other cheek, and as long as you are the better person, you are the morally superior person, then it doesn't
Mhm.
matter what people do to you, right? And I
Right.
think that that is such a victim mentality. I do feel like that most of us are in some way, shape, or form marginalized. Some of us are facing inequity. Some of us have faced trauma. Some of us have been on the other end of serious, serious abuse. And I
Mhm.
don't feel like there's any kind of spiritual bypassing that will ever be enough to really heal those cores and understanding like how those things that have happened to us and how those things that we have inherited. So Z talks about having past lives.
Mhm.
Some witches feel like they have past lives. So,
Yeah.
as being persecuted as witches. So
Mhm.
there's that. And then, but even if you don't like connect to that specific idea,
Mhm.
your ancestors have been affected like that. And so
Mhm.
whether you personally believe in past lives or not, I
Mhm.
feel like our genetics carry what's called genetic memory, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so if all women come from, especially women or women identifying people or LGBT or masculines that maybe lean more towards like a non-binary type of expression of themselves, people of color, I feel like all of these people have experienced some type of ancestral hardship caused
Mhm.
by Puritan, white,
Mhm.
straight patriarchy.
Yeah.
And there's a certain point where glossing over and understanding why and becoming aware is that first step. But what we all really crave is to get even and to change those dynamics. And I think that especially people like us have been so gaslit
Yeah. Yeah.
by this, that we've feel so much shame around wanting and craving vindication and
Mhm.
vengeance, and we get told that those are not healthy or helpful tools in the healing journey, but they are. So
Mhm.
whether magic does work or whether magic doesn't work, it doesn't matter. It's all therapy. And so if we
Mhm.
look at it from a psychotherapy, we look at it from a psycho-spiritual standpoint, whether you believe in the woo-woo or not, or
Mhm.
that's part of your woo-woo may or may not be part of your witchcraft experience. But even
Yeah.
if it isn't, there's still so much spiritual bypassing that goes on that it really makes it difficult to, like what Z was saying, is get to that actual root. And so sometimes we need in witchcraft to be some type of magical expression for ourselves to express those kind of hidden deep dark desires that we might have. And
Mhm.
when we can actually get that out of our system and learn how to do these deep dark spells in a
Yep.
safe and an ethical way with witches like us that can help
Mhm.
create that container, you're
Mhm.
going to heal things and have breakthroughs overnight that you have been dealing with
Right.
for decades.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, your fear of rejection, your fear of persecution, all of that is
Mhm.
gone. And instead, you start to stand in your witch power and realize, no, actually, I can do whatever I want and no one can stop me, right?
Mhm. And with limitless power comes fear,
Mhm.
because all of us have always, probably a lot of us, have been told we can't do it, we're not good enough,
You're
you're
gonna go to
never going
hell,
to do this. Yeah, you're going to go to hell. People
which
are
doesn't
judging
exist.
you. Yeah. So when you actually do spells to heal yourself or to change your circumstances, and you see that change in front of you, you know that you have the power to manifest and to change your entire life. So with that, you're going to have other fears come up. So this is what this coven is about helping you level up, for lack of a better word, your power as a witch. So once you level up and you start seeing your environment change because of you and the spells that you've done and the releasing, and other stuff's going to be coming up. But that's why we're here. There's nothing more powerful when a witch stands in their power and that witch doesn't give a damn. I'm going
And
to
she's
do,
got witchy friends to back her up.
yeah, I'm going to do what I want to do, what I am meant to do on this earth, what my soul contract is to do. I'm going to heal the past, present, and future of my lineage. Then that's when the power becomes just evident in your aura and the people around you change.
You can't not believe it at that point. It just is. That becomes your reality, right?
Correct. You no longer live in fear when you know your power.
And you know what? Say worst case scenario happens, something that, we become being persecuted again. I am not going to stay on this earth as a person
Right.
who doesn't get to express who I am. I'm just not going to. I will check out. I am wise enough to know that I will be incarnating several times in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
existence of the universe. That's fine. And even being able to say, in the face of bad things being potentially happen, could happen, saying, I'm still going to be doing this either way. I mean, it's still here. So it's such a this witch wound is something that all women have, because and all marginalized people have, because even if you don't think you're a witch, they think you're a witch because of your
Correct.
behaviors. So either you're going to accept the label and step into that witch power, or it's going to be placed upon you and you're going to be persecuted for it. So
Yeah.
you get to choose. Are you going to be persecuted, or are you going to be a victim to
Mhm.
this, or are you going to be powerful?
Yeah. It's just like I just watched Wicked, which I've read the book and I watched the play and I just watched the movie. And when I watched the movie, I was like, I feel so bad because she was not a bad witch, but she was persecuted before they knew her. She's like, you know what? I am. I'm going to be that evil witch and I'm going to take that persona on, but I'm going to flip it around so I am the one that has the power.
Mm-hmm.
So you can believe what you want to believe. That's your narrative. That's not my narrative. That's not my story. But you best believe that I'm going to take that power that you've given me and I'm going to make it my own.
Mm-hmm. So this witch wound, it manifests in so many different ways. For the way that I see it with my clients and my peers manifesting is that they're too scared to start their witchy business, or they're
Yeah.
too scared to start a psychic business, or
Yeah.
any type of business or livelihood that's not considered like a normative, type of thing. And then kind of also where especially women feel so shameful about asking for what they deserve when it comes to the financial, like
Oh, yeah.
what they're going to charge per hour, or what they want their salary to be, or their ability
Mhm.
to ask for the raise, or their ability to go after promotions, right? So
Mhm.
it really manifests of like a self-doubt, and it keeps the witches I know super broke,
Yep.
burnt out, eternally in adrenal fatigue. And so then their health really starts to disintegrate. Their immune
Mhm.
system weakens, and they start developing diseases, and they start, or not diseases, but like disorders, and and things like that. So
Mhm.
even if we want to say it's just magic and just energy, it's not. It really does affect you in a very, very physical way. And I would say you and me, it's really interesting because Z and I deal with a lot of the same kind of like disorder, like chronically ill,
Mhm.
disorders that we deal with and things like that. And once you and I committed to doing this program, our health has both improved, which I thought was, and simultaneously, like
Mhm.
almost identically, right?
Yep. Mhm.
We both started losing weight.
Mhm.
Both started having more energy. We
Yep.
both started being more outspoken in our local community, doing things.
Yep.
You set up a book club, right?
Mhm.
I started
Mhm.
working on my plant business and selling
Yep.
plants locally and getting into my green witch energy. And
Mhm.
so it's interesting how once we've made this commitment, and like that's the commitment that you'll be making as well. It's like once you've made this commitment, it's like you automatically get this attunement just from
Yeah.
me, Z, and our energy, that your nervous system in magic is going to start feeling safe, because it's almost kind of like Z and I are going to be your den mothers, right? We're going to be your good moms for the next 6 months, and we're going to help you, and we're going to nurture you, and we're going to teach you the old ways of doing things, and bring back the psychodramas, and bring back the acting out and the plays, and the theatrical side of witchcraft, and making it something that is completely. When we were setting up this program and conceptualizing this program, I think the thing that really bothers me about a lot of covens is they're like a modge podge of different traditions. And so you have like a little bit of Wicca, and you'll have maybe a little bit of hoodoo, and maybe you'll have like a little bit of conjure, and maybe you'll have like a little bit of this, that, and the other. But what I really wanted to do when I was working in development with Z with this is I wanted to create something that makes sense, that is consistent from start to finish, that is going to take you on a concise journey with real tangible results, and it not just be a whole bunch of helpful things from all these different traditions and things like that. I wanted to create something completely new, but still ancient, and still part of the old ways, the old traditions, and then bringing in the new modern witchcraft with that as well. And so the basis of this coven is going to be traditional American witch, and that is going to be probably, we are maybe perhaps the only coven that exists that claims to be traditional American witchcraft. So what do we mean by that? Well, traditional American witchcraft is it's its own thing. It's its own new tradition. It's new world tradition. And so what it does is it takes inspiration from various communities that were set up within the United States of America. So my ancestors are powwow, German Dutch, and French Catholic. Okay, conjure. That's my ancestry, and Irish, and a little bit of Irish. And so you have a kind of like a similar background as well. So, and then we're also going. You actually lived in the Appalachians for quite some time.
Tennessee, Alabama, a long time.
Yeah, so you're bringing the Appalachian in. I lived in the Southwest, so I'm bringing more of the Southwest kind of tradition in, that is really highly influenced by Mexican magic and Native American magic in that area. And we want to be absolutely clear: we are not teaching hoodoo. We are not teaching Native American spirituality. We are not teaching powwow. We are not teaching conjure. We're not teaching a tradition outside of what has become the Blackthorn tradition. This is a whole new thing that has been synergized from all of these traditional American magic ideas. And then we're also going to be utilizing animistic magic from the native traditions, things like Appalachian conjure, working with candles, working with herbs, that doing charms, bags, that sort of thing. But these are not the backbone of the coven. These are all our tools that we use, right? The backbone of our coven is going to be helping you through the witch wounds and connecting with the dark mother, not even the dark goddess. We're not even going to go gods and goddesses. And that was something that was really important to me that I told Z is I don't want to worship anything. I don't want to, I'm not here to worship anything. I'm over worshiping things. I'm over that. I want to worship myself, and I want to become my own God. And so when we put this coven together, we said, no gods, no masters, right? And so that, and I think that that's also one of the key things that really makes us unique is that we're not a cult. We're not goddess or God focused. We don't worship deities. We may work with them, and we work with them in more of an archetypal way to bring about certain things. We might work with Medusa for justice. We might work with Lilith for sacred sexuality, sensuality. We might work with Kali for karma, okay, things of that nature. But we don't worship them, and our coven is not structured in any way to be like exalting them. in any way, right?
Yeah, and a lot of my followers and my clients have an issue because they feel less than a witch because they don't have a deity or a specific deity that they worship and work with. And so they feel like they don't fit in. They still feel like, man, I'm not a powerful witch because everybody has their own, deity that they work with. I don't work with deities. What am I doing wrong? Maybe my deity hasn't even spoken to me. And I don't know how many of my clients have said, I have tried so many times to connect with the deity,
And it's
and
just not for me.
through meditation, through, spell work, and they just don't show up. So they always say, what am I doing wrong? I want a deity. I want to work with someone. I want to work with the goddess, but this isn't that kind of coven. We'll bring in aspects of ourselves that are hidden or that we need to work with, for sure. And we'll help you, try to find them if you want to. But if you don't work with a specific one, that's fine too. That's fine.
Because we don't either.
I work with them when I need to on different aspects of and what I want to as an outcome. Right?
Yeah.
I bring in their energy and stuff, but no, not as one that we only work with, just one specific one.
Right. And so this is
my goddess, and I don't know if yours has, but my goddess who I started off as was Bridget, and I don't work with her so much anymore.
Persephone is mine. And I feel like I've integrated Persephone. Like I don't feel like I need to work with, and that's what I think that working through the goddesses and goddesses, we say that can include any type of like highest level version of a specific aspect of what we want to accomplish with the dark feminine. The dark feminine, the dark mother just encompasses all of the aspects, all the hidden aspects, the hidden shadows of the dark feminine. So things like concepts like jealousy, rage, vindication, vengeance, these types of things that we've been told to stuff down, that those are not ladylike, but things that we need to experience and to work through the full spectrum of emotions in order to really deal with the things that have happened to us and become a powerful person. So if you're thinking about joining the Blackthorn Coven, we want to kind of talk to you about what that's kind of going to look like, and how that is going to be set up. So we're actually going to start the end of this month on the 28th Friday. So we're going to be meeting once a month on the dark moon, starting this next month in February. We'll be meeting once a month live over Zoom, and we will have a specific ceremony, ritual, rite, and it's going to be very immersive, and it's going to be something you will actively participate in if you want to. We want to make this clear that you don't have to attend the rituals in order to join the coven, but we would recommend doing them with us while you have the opportunity, because after this 6 months is over, we are not running this program again. You will have to go in, self-study, watch the videos on your own. So the value that you're going to get out of doing the live version of this course is worth the price that we're going to be asking for us to be able to hold that energy, to create all of the coven assets that we're going to be creating, like the initiation series. There's a lot. I mean, we have contributed over 100 pages so far, and we have barely even really started. Z and I are going to be working over the next 6 months to add more and more content to it. But what it's going to look like is we'll be meeting once a month over live on Zoom, and so we'll be going through some sort of ritual or process. It's probably going to be between 1 and 2 hours long, depending on what we're going to be doing that evening. And we will have a specific like role or psychodrama to kind of play out. Certain incantations will repeat and things like that. Certain things that we want to accomplish in each of those rituals. And it's all going to be based around healing the witch wound. So we'll focus on certain aspects of the witch wounds that we're going to be working on. And then also once a month, you're going to get Cauldron Chat. Cauldron Chat is where Z and I are going to meet up in our Discord chat room, and we're going to bring up a topic of conversation. So it will be something related to the witch wound. It will be something related to conquering your fears, unleashing your fierce and feral self. And
Mhm.
so you'll have both the chat option to hang out with us, and you will have the live video option. So you'll have 2 events per month. And then as we go along, as we go through these individual rituals, other certain aspects of the coven will start to unlock for you. So we are going to, in the very beginning, gatekeep some of the resources, like access to the grimoire, access to the little knowledge base that we're putting together, the foundational aspects of the coven. As you progress through the coven, you will unlock certain features and aspects of that. And we want to do that because we don't want people going into the grimoire completely untrained, summoning demons, or doing kind of vengeance spells, or what we consider to be dark or black
Mhm.
magic. We don't want you going into doing that. And then, because what you have to realize is when you join this coven, your karma also becomes our karma and vice
Right.
versa. We start to
Mhm.
share energy. And so we want to make sure that we're giving you the proper ethical guidance and the training you need before you start getting into some of these darker magics like sex magic, death magic, blood magic, some of these other uh, different kinds of spells and stuff that you will have access to and our support with. But we want to make sure we're doing that in a way where we're doing it in a responsible way.
Right. We want to teach you how your energy feels before you do these darker kind of, I hate the word darker, but baneful type of spells, because we really want to look at not going to the baneful magic right away. There's other stuff that
Yeah.
you can do, but people are so emotionally charged when they felt that they have been done wrong, or whatever it is, they want this revenge, or they're like, whatever it is. There's other ways to get what you want and have that karmic energy thrown on them than hexing, cursing, that kind of thing. So we
Yeah.
want to actually teach you how to read your energy, especially when you're working with demons. Are you working with seances? You're working with, spirit communication and your guides. How can you tell if you're working with a demon or a negative energy, not necessarily a demon? Or are you working with an actual spirit that you want to communicate? What does your energy feel like? What are your questions, your gatekeeping questions, before you start working with spiritual energy? There's so much stuff you need to learn before you actually dive into the more powerful spells. And that's why you have me, and that's why you have Christina, to help you guide yourself through some of these I wouldn't say darker, but more powerful type of spells and
And
energy.
unpredictable too. And that's something that
Oh yeah.
malevolent magic is it's unpredictable, right? And so as we go through the initiation series, we're going to be installing protective
Mm-hmm.
wards on ourselves within the
Yeah.
coven. There are going to be certain protections that are going to be given to you by working with us in our energy, that in a way we will also be lending our energy to protect you. So really it's more about, in the beginning we have to teach you how to protect yourself, and also there's like, everybody wants vengeance, but maybe what you really need is a manipulation spell, or
Right.
maybe what you really need is a truth spell, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there are better spells to do to get the outcome that you want. And I know everybody wants to dive in and do the dark spells and do that
They're
right away,
sexy. The dark
but
spells are sexy.
they're sexy and they're fun and they work, but also they can be unpredictable. And so if you don't have a lot of magical experience and you don't know how to, like, if something were to say backfire or attach to you, do you know how to get rid of that?
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
So, it's really just about us having your best benefit and our best benefit in
Mm-hmm.
mind,
And
right?
protocols. A lot of
Protocol.
people, a lot of witches don't know about protocols and how to use them and
Yeah.
what to do with them. It's
And that's how you
also,
keep yourself consistently safe. That's not to say that you won't be affected. I've had demons attached to me. I've had entities attached to me, but I knew how to get rid of them, and I knew how to discern them from, say, a different kind of spirit.
Correct.
Like when I went to this, I just experienced this when I went to the Zach Baggins Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. I told Susie or Z, I said, and it was like 14,000 square feet of satanic haunted stuff in there. And no matter how good of a witch you think you are, you're going to bring something home. That's just how it is. So I brought something home, and because of all of the training I had, I was able to identify that this was a malevolent spirit. I was able to discern whether what the spirit actually wanted from me. I was able to go into the dreamscape, and I asked the spirit what it wanted from me, and it asked me to form a contract with it. I said, no, I am not going to be doing that. I banished it. It's gone. Haven't had any experience with it. And that's what we want to teach you how to do, is handle your witch business, right?
Yeah, because you have dominion over yourself and your energy. And it's just, I always say, give an example of when you're doing spirit communication with Ouija boards and something comes in that you're not familiar with that terrifies you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a demon. Maybe it's just a spirit that's angry or pissed off or doesn't like you for some reason. Yeah. And what do most people do? Freak out and they scream, and then they shove the Ouija board under the bed or whatever they do.
They start going back to church.
Yeah. So with our training, we're going to teach you how to identify that, how to stand in your power, how to say, no, I didn't ask you here. Who are you? Get out. Right? Because when you're in a heightened state of fear, your inner witch wound wants to run.
And you start making really bad decisions.
Yeah, that takes, and this is why I don't say I always don't, but I really caution people doing baneful magic, because you know the consequences. Are you ready for the consequences? Do you know what to do if it doesn't go the way you want it to go? And have you set your boundaries? Have you taken the steps? Or what? And my first question is, well, what have you done? What are your first spells that you've done for this? Have you done a sweetening spell? Have you done a spell to like, oh, well, maybe I want him to get another job so he will leave me alone? Or get out, if we have a bad manager, do another spell. Like,
sometimes it's easier to bless someone than curse them, right?
Because it takes more power and more energy to remove something than if you don't know what you're doing. And a lot of times they will come to us and they'll say, Christina, Madam Zia, this is what I did. I screwed up. And you're just like, oh my gosh, okay. So you have to do this, you have to do that, and you're exhausted by the time you're done with. And some of these spells, you have to do over and over and over and over.
Yeah, that's part of the sacrifice part of it. Yeah. Some of them, if you really want something to happen, sometimes it's a labor. Yeah.
And trust me, there are some circumstances where you're like, I know that I'm going to take on some karmic energy that I have to write later on in my life or in my next life. And this is so important to me that I'm willing to sacrifice that karma.
And I also want to say, we're not about turning witches evil. We're not about perpetuating evil. We are not satanic. We are not here to do harm inherently. That's not our instinct, is not to do harm. We're not going to create a legion of evil witches, of chaos evil witches. That's not our intention. Our intention is to simply give you the tools that you need to create the karma and dharma that you want in your own life, and to handle your own business in the way that you see fit. We're not here to talk about the threefold law. We're not here. There is none of that. That doesn't exist in ours. Okay. Obviously, magic is cause and effect, but depending on what kind of spell you need, the situation that you're in, we would just want to simply give you tools and give you the experience that we had 20 years ago when we were going through this mentorship process, Absolutely. Yeah. Tanya says, I have had to tell so many people lately, if it isn't worth any kind of cost to you, be it grown up and use your words instead. And Tanya, that is so true because there's been so many times where I've been like, is this person really worth $3 worth of candles and herbs
Or
and
the
20
energy.
minutes of my time? Mm-mm. Black magic is for people that you don't mind spending a little bit of money on to get rid of. Okay. That's for serious stuff. It's not for petty stuff. It's not for that kind of stuff. So
And
we
the
do.
energy it takes when you do that kind of spell, you have to do the timing right. You have to have certain herbs. You have to be in high ritual for hours. That kind of stuff isn't like, oh, just light a candle
And
and
you have to
then,
be looking over your shoulder for the next, lunar cycle. Let's see if
yep,
that stuff's active.
exactly.
And your karma has to be clean.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you have to go in there with clean hands.
oh boy. Because when you curse people, when you hex people, you're tattletaling on them. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're tattletaling on people to the divinity, the divine source, the dark feminine, the dark mother, you better be clean as a whistle, man. You better
Yep,
have not done anything bad. You better not be on Santa's naughty list, right?
exactly.
You have to be on the good list in order to get the vengeance and the vindication and
Mm-hmm.
the justice that you truly seek.
Yep.
Okay, so we are wrapping up an hour. I want to just talk briefly about what are some of the things that we're going to help you do in this coven beyond just the meeting 2 times a month and getting access to the grimoire. Again, we are going to, this is the first part of this. This is level 1. Okay. We are
Mm-hmm.
probably going to be doing this again next year and possibly even the year after that. But this is the first initial, like, this is how you get initiated into the coven. So primarily, we're going to take you through initiation process. You will also be part of that foundational process in helping us create this coven. So if you enroll during the live version of this, you will be a founder within the coven. One day you will be an elder within the coven.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you may also become a priestess, a high priestess within the coven. You are going to be able to move up. So depending on the level of how involved you want to be, whether you just kind of want to watch from the outside looking in and maybe do things on your own, or you want to, go out there and do your own chapter of our coven, or you want to learn more about the priestess aspect of it and becoming a leader within the coven. We're going to create that and make that available for people to be able to be part of something that's more than just a program. It becomes a siblinghood. It becomes a group of people that become your magical family. And you can belong to as many covens as you want. We're not an exclusive tradition. You can belong to any tradition and stuff like that. But when you join our coven, you become a Blackthorn. So you will take the Blackthorn name after the initiation is over, and you
Mm-hmm.
will become a partner with us inside this coven. If you want to teach your own magical classes, if you want to, affiliate with us in some way where you begin to also earn income as a teacher within this coven, those things are going to be possible. But we have to start with the initiation. And so that's what the next 6 months is going to be. And so we're going to be focusing most on the psycho-spiritual aspect of it at first, which is going to be helping you dismantle a lot of the fear-based programming that you have, that you were born with around wealth, success, magic. I bring the business training. Z brings the huge amount, a wealth of network training, social training, etiquette
Circle
training,
training, women's
leadership,
circle,
women's
women.
circles, running
Mm-hmm.
retreats. I'm more of the administrative. I'm the techie witch. I'm the tech witch, I'm the sales
Mm-hmm.
witch. And so it's not just for people who want to have a magical business or anything like that, but that is who it would really help as well. And you're going to now, and here's the thing, we would rather get 3 witches enroll and that be it, rather than have a coven of 50 people that we don't know. So when you come into our coven, you become part of our magical family. We take care of you and we care about you and we're going to help you. And so sometimes for a lot of people, that's the first time they've had a siblinghood, a sisterhood that they've actually felt kind of safe to talk about their magic in, right?
Mm-hmm. I know when me and Christina were brainstorming today, I was like, man, you know what we should do after like the 6 months or the first couple, we should like bring in-person retreats together over like that we have a
Yeah,
beautiful,
cow tongue is so,
yeah.
Tanya says cow tongues are so pricey. I know the price of cow tongues. We can't afford that anymore,
I
man.
know, right? And I was like, we should bring all our coven together and rent out an Airbnb because they have a beautiful Airbnb here that is done all in Hogwarts.
Yeah, so we want to manifest a retreat. So
yes,
and that would be exclusive to initiates. You can't come unless you're a Blackthorn. So.
Stuff is always going to be evolving in this coven. So whatever is coming up consciously, right, or subconsciously, and collectively, we call it the hive mind. We're always going to be growing. We're always going to be creating. We're always going to be adding things to it. So, and Christina,
it's a living program. It's the first program that I've ever done it has a spirit, it has a soul.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And it was, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. So Christina was talking about, if you want to teach classes or if you want to start a coven on your own, this is what we call hive mind. And this is when you start your own coven, it's called hiving off of what we are. Your core is this coven right here. But then if you want to hive off or start
or create your own tradition
in your own tradition, we can help you with that too. So
because we've really developed a framework, a coven framework. It's I'm impressed with us. I'll say that I'm impressed. When we first were talking about this, it was in a very nonchalant kind of way and thinking, what would be the bare bones. And then as we were forming this program together, we're like, no, it has to be something special. It has to be unique and it has to be something that works. And so that's what we have spent the last probably 3 or 4 years talking about a couple times a week until we finally figured out what is the core essence, what is at the heart of what we do. And this is what we have created. So it's our baby together. It really is. And we want you to come in and also be part of this because it's very exciting. It's very, very exciting.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
All right.
And everybody is there. A lot of people and my clients don't really know about how to work with the dark moon. They always talk about.
They didn't even know that there was a dark moon.
They had no idea. They don't even know what the Lilith, dark moon Lilith is in your chart. We're going to talk about which moon manifests in your chart. So, and a lot of witches don't, because nobody really talks about that stuff.
Tanya's enrolled. Hi, Tanya. Thank you so much, Tanya. We are so excited to have you in the Blackthorn Coven. You did not get the coupon, so don't worry. I will refund you the difference, baby girl. So don't worry. I will get you that coupon. Thank you so much. Tanya is our first to enroll.
Hey, welcome, Tanya. Welcome to the sisterhood at the Blackthorn Witches Coven. Yay! We're going to work on magical names. So you get to pick up your magical name. We're going to work on manifesting, how would you say? Money. And also, it's not really demons. It's our angel that's kind of your guide to work with you.
Oh, your daemon. Your daemon.
Yeah, your daemon to work with
your guiding spirit.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So you will have someone in the spiritual realm working with you on the spiritual realm while you're with us for the 6 months.
Yeah, Mary says, I never knew Lilith was Adam's first woman. And that's a story that has been gatekept as well, that empowers women that we were kept from,
And that's why
we're here to right a lot of wrongs.
Yep.
And just think about the lineage that you're going to help in your own lineage, but also all women, all marginalized people, all people of color, all indigenous, all LGBT, everyone who has ever felt the sting of patriarchy, the oppressive, crushing weight of the patriarchy, and this a notion that we have to express ourselves in a certain way, that we have to be a certain way in order to be worthy and of value in this world. And it's not true. It's all lies. It's all bullshit. And we're here to dismantle that. Is there a deadline to set up? I don't think we really have a deadline for you to join, but the 10% off is for the first 10 people. So I have a coupon code. It's on the screen right now. If you look, it's called Feral10 for 10% off the Blackthorn tradition. And this is level 1. Okay.
Mhm.
And you can go to bit.ly/Blackthorn initiation. So if you want to be one of the first 10 to enroll to get that 10% off, that's the code that you will use. Once 10 people have used that code, it's done, it's gone. There will be no more discounts on this program. And after we're done with the program, the price is going to go up. So we're doing this founder's price right now of 333 because what a magical number for divine feminine, dark magic and dark divine feminine. So 333, such a powerful magical number. So we're going to be offering it for right now. I would have been burned back in the day because I had a backbone. Exactly.
I think all of us and that's where I think a lot of us are carrying the hidden witch wound because of that.
Yeah.
So we've learned be quiet and not make waves for self-preservation.
Yeah. And we live in a different time now, and we really have to embrace that, because if we slip at all and we let them take this freedom back, they will. They're trying to right now. We see it in the current political climate and what's happening in the United States of America, especially when it comes to things like abortion rights, healthcare rights, marriage rights for LGBT. We're now seeing that, the government is now forcing people to choose either male or female, that we're not allowing them to opt out of that, which is just not biologically true. So, all right, April, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate that. So,
and don't forget, when you sign up, if you go through PayPal, they have payment plans.
Yeah.
Available, but we want to put the payment plans on back to your discretion on what you wanted to do, what makes you feel good and what your finances can do. So don't, if you're like, man, I really want in, but I can't do the 333 right now, opt in for those payment plans. We tried to make it really easy for you and remove those blocks, financial blocks, because
we're paying the highest price to be able to offer Klarna, Afterpay, PayPal credit, Apple Pay. I turned on all the cards. So no matter where your money is or how you want to do the payment plan on it, you have that option. So if you do the PayPal one, it's like 6 months, a 6-month payment plan. So that would be like $50, $60 a month, right? So it's really not that bad. It's like if you were to go out to like Chili's or Applebee's or something once a month with your date or something like that. So, or maybe, you choose to not buy a couple books, witchcraft books that month. Maybe you just choose to not buy a witchcraft tool, or maybe you choose to not buy some crystals for a couple months or something like that, until your magic starts working to where you're more comfortably able to, handle that. But really, we tried to make this the most accessible. This is definitely at least $1,000 program. But we really want to make it accessible because we feel like right now the world really needs this.
Especially with all of our experience that we have together and all the stuff we're going to be adding. I mean, we're going to have our own grimoire for this coven. Yeah. Blackthorn is going to have their own. But I want to talk a little bit about sacrifices before we, say goodbye to everyone. Sacrifices is not necessarily a negative thing. I sacrifice my time to be here with you guys because I wanted to be here with you guys. And if you want to be in this program, you may have to sacrifice some luxuries, maybe for the time being. And we're going to show you ways to manifest more luxury, more abundance, more financial freedom. Maybe you want to start your own business, right? But the dark mother, the goddess, is going to ask for some kind of sacrifice from you to be in this coven. Whether it is
usually your time. Usually.
Yeah. Whether it is, I don't need to buy another book right now, or I don't need to buy another candle right now, or I don't need another Starbucks right now. I'm going to make my coffee at home. Well, that's
more magical to make your coffee at home.
Exactly. And do some divination in your morning coffee. So we're going to show you all of the little magical things that you can do within your what you have. But I'm telling you now, if you've got to get comfortable with sacrificing whatever that is for you. And it doesn't mean it has to be a sacrifice animals.
No, we're
I
no,
really want to take
we're
the
not vegan, but we're definitely not
I
into
want to
that.
take the
We use our
negative
own blood.
energy.
That's what we use is our own blood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to take the negative thoughts around away from the word sacrifice. If you're on a diet or you're watching your weight or you have to work out, then
I
you have to.
believe Ivy just enrolled.
Ivy?
Yep.
So we only have 10%.
Yeah, we
off?
only have 8 left now. Congratulations,
Yay,
Ivy. Thank you so much. I
Ivy.
really appreciate it. Here's my little blood thingy that I use for get my blood out for my blood spells. Yeah.
Blood
Maya
magic.
says, this is a great question. How experienced do you need to be to participate? You don't need any experience.
None.
We're walking you through the very beginning.
Yeah.
We're starting over.
We kind of like newbies because they don't have the pre-training and the stigma around doing kinds of magic or the fear of doing magic. So we're here to guide you and we're here to help you along the way and set those foundations that you can carry through your entire lifetime and your future lineage. So this is the foundational work that you're going to need. And then in 6 months, you're going to become this powerful witch and you're going to be like, that doesn't resonate with me so much anymore. I'm going to do my own kind of magic that resonates with me. So we're going to help you create that foundational work as a powerful witch. So then you can then create your own magic that resonates with you and your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are not about creating weak-willed witches. We're not about creating bitches. We're about creating badass witches. We're going to take you, like Z had this program that she used to run all the time, basic witch to badass, basic bitch to badass witch. And so she's bringing some of that in with her, that energy with her. And we're really about creating strong, independent, fierce, brave, courageous witches that can go out there and create the change for themselves and create the change for their community and create the change for the people around them that they want. Or you can just do your fun glamour spells in your own house and just enjoy yourself and be in your divine feminine energy. And that's how you get out of it. Whatever you want to get out of it is what you're going to get out of it. But you're going to develop a very close relationship with the Dark Mother. It's going to become tangible for you. And I don't want to scare you, but things are going to start happening. The excuses that you've been telling yourself, they're going to start falling away. And sometimes that can be, I'm getting chills right now. Sometimes that can be the scariest fucking thing in the world when things start getting good. And so much of trauma healing is witchcraft. And so much of it is building you up your resilience so that you become a powerful person in this world, that you're nobody's bitch, you're nobody's victim, right? And that's what it's all about.
And releasing the limiting beliefs that are not ours, that have been put on us from society, from childhood, from other things that are keeping us from living our lives out loud and living in our power. A lot of releasing the limiting beliefs. And when you come into this coven, like Christina said, there are no victims, there are no excuses. We're not gonna baby you. We're not gonna be like, oh, poor you. No, there is no poor you.
We'll give you a hug if you're crying about it, but that's about where it ends. And then we're gonna tell you, all right, get your candle out, get your tarot card deck out. What do we need to sort?
What are you going to do to change your circumstances? Because you have complete control and power over your circumstances. If you don't like it, change it. And we're going to show you.
So I do have to kind of tell everybody, once you get into enroll, so how does that even look like? What does it look like? You get into enroll, and what you're going to see very first, because we're pre-selling this course, meaning we are not starting officially until the 28th. So right now, what we're doing is we're working on, okay, Ivy's in, yeah. We'll get you guys into the Discord. So just have patience. I will be working all this weekend to manage the sales and get people into the Discord. So what you're going to see when you first enroll is a thank you letter that says, hi, welcome, you've made it. Then you're going to see a my Discord name. And then what you're going to do is you're going to download Discord onto your phone or sign up for a free Discord account. It's a completely free thing. Please don't pay for anything on Discord. Okay. So you'll sign up for Discord. What it is, it's a chat app. So we're going to have chat rooms. We will also have channels that will have like announcements. We'll be able to schedule events within that. You'll be able to see when calls are starting to come up. We'll be able to tag you so that you'll get notifications on your phone. Mary says she has one already. Awesome.
Good.
Anya says, I feel like this is the perfect resource to help me move past my fear and anger at the world right now. I'm ready to channel some righteous rage into positive action.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't even talk about anger and rage.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. So you'll add me and then you're going to message me with your student email that you sign up for. And then I will add you to the Discord server. Now, when you get in, you must take your oath. You will be dropped into a channel called The Threshold. You need to read through that. There are agreements that you need to agree to. This is our code of conduct within the Coven. So you will agree to that and it will be nothing crazy. It will just be basically like, don't do magic on your sisters and brothers. don't do too much crazy chaos magic that's going to affect us. Make sure if you're going to curse and hatch that you're informed and that you feel that you've done the shadow work around why this is still necessary, right? And some other things like we don't sacrifice animals, we don't do anything like that, like nothing crazy like that, right? And so there is a text that you will need to write out. So you need to sit there and type it out. And what it is it's an oath of secrecy. So that is the most important thing, is that once you sign that oath of secrecy and sign your name on it, then we will add you to the Cauldron chat, the Midnight Margarita channel, which is like where we're with the goof off channel. Then we have some other channels and things like that. I also want to be very clear. You're not going to have access to the Academy or the Grimoire right this very second. These are things, again, that are going to unlock. So it may feel a little bit bare bones right now, but just understand that it's because we are founding this program and you are going to be with us on the journey. You get to see how this program is going to be developed. You get to see all the updates as they roll out. And so you're going to have a different kind of appreciation once this program is over versus people that just enroll and is automatically, all there for them that they have to go through on their own.
Yeah.
So I would absolutely recommend, if you want to study with us live and do this in real time and be part of our live circles, our live ceremonies, our live rituals, now is the time to enroll. And we have, we still have 8 coupons left. So Feral 10, number 10, 10 for 10% off. And this is just until it sells out. Okay. And so as we go through the sales, I will be meeting up with everybody. Make sure that you have downloaded Discord. Make sure that you're adding me. If you're having problems, just message me or Z. We'll get you in there somehow. Okay, we'll help you get in there. All right.
And just remember, things are going to evolve. Ideas are going to come up. Rituals, resources, books, tarot decks, everything is going to be full of resources in here. You have a way to connect with other witches that are going to last a lifetime. These are your Coven sisters.
Yep.
They will be with you for years, if not through, centuries, right? Other lives. Yeah. You will recognize the energy of your circle sisters in future lives. Maybe you'll marry one. Maybe they'll be your husband or your sister or your aunt, whatever, your cousin or your boss. Right? Who knows? But you will recognize your Coven sisters' energy. And there will always
become a priority for us as well. Like Z and I are very busy. We both run businesses. We both have many obligations. We're high performers. We're high achievers. Yeah. We're entrepreneurs. We have a very busy life. And so the reason, and I need to make this clear, we're not getting rich off of this. Like I said, this could have been so much more expensive. And especially right now, it could have been $1,000 easily, $4,000, $5,000. But we did it at this price because we just want to make sure that we're being compensated to be able to sit down and host this space for you guys and to be able to hold this space. And to do that, we do have to put a price tag on it. And we also do that because we want to make sure that we're getting people that are serious in, because if we just let it to be whoever wants to come in, it doesn't serve us. If there is some kind of like financial obligation, what that does is it makes people think twice about acting up, and it makes people think twice about, coming in and trying to cause chaos and trying to exert their will over the coven, which is a problem that a lot of covens have and why they dismantle, because there's too many chefs in the kitchen. There's too many priestesses and,
and egos and stuff.
Yeah, there's too many egos. And so we do have this 333 price on it. And we do that because we know what it's truly worth and the value of it. And we just happen to live in this existence where money is something that's valuable and that is crosses state lines and country lines. And, it's the universal energy exchange. So that's why we've decided to charge for this. But also, it also helps us buy things that we need for teaching. Like candles aren't free, herbs aren't free, oils aren't free, spell things aren't, spell ingredients. It's not free. So that's going to help. Basically, we're going to funnel all of this money back into the coven. And our goal is to have a retreat for the coven. And so we can be able to meet up with everybody and rent out this beautiful Harry Potter magical themed Airbnb in the Midwest. And so we really want to bring this to the real. We really want to see everybody in person at some point. If that's, on your radar or something you might want to do. I think that we're going to really bring something special to the magical community right now. And one of my favorite things about who I am is I like being one of the best kept secrets, sort of. I like kind of being under the radar. And this is you have to know us in order to be aware that this is even happening. Like, we're not going to be publicly we're not going to be super public about it. But it's going to be more of an exclusive thing. And we just have to trust, we know that the right people are going to join.
Correct.
Yeah, platforms to host the grimoire isn't free either. I pay for all that. So I pay for the Discord. I pay for the cloud.
Everything.
I pay for the Zoom. All of that costs money. Yep. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the coven or if they would be the right fit? So how would you know if you're a right fit? Well, you're probably magically inclined, or at least you're somewhat intrigued by witchcraft and magic. You could be someone who's very, very, very experienced, but you kind of want to niche down and really concentrate and build a really concentrated magical practice instead of like a really open-ended, magical practice, which kind of pull from different places. This is going to be like the concentrated form. When you buy, do you buy like concentrated hand soap and stuff like that, where like you have to add it to the water? Like you buy the concentrate, this is the concentrate. So this is going to be a very condensed.
And also people who are just tired of the nice, sweet witchcraft. Someone who wants to really dive into their dark goddess energy and see what that's about and start healing themselves from within. As ugly as that may be, and whatever comes up, you're ready to deal with that. But you're also ready to say, screw it, I'm tired of being a cog in the machine. I'm going to take care of my own entire life. I'm going to manifest what I want to manifest, and I'm not going to be a victim anymore. I'm taking charge of my entire life, and it starts with me. So it's going to be for those type of feral women who want to, heal the witch room, live in their divine power. But you have to be warned that it's going to be transforming for you. So you may lose friends. You may lose that job that's not serving you. You may be like, screw it, I'm selling everything, I'm getting an RV, and I am going to travel the world.
But don't worry, we're not going to push you off the edge. We're going to do, it's all going to be very comfortable. It's all going to be, how can we support you to do what you want to do? That's all we want to do. We're not going to be careless. We're not going to be chaos. We're not going to like shove you off the cliff and like that. So, we're not like that. We're just, how far do you want to take it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you
But the thing is,
manifest your own destiny,
yeah.
and this
And
is
the
the
thing
place
is
to do it.
that how many of us have people in our lives that we can be the full depth of ourselves and I was just thinking about this, like, why, because I always try to re-examine why I'm a good coach or why I'm a good teacher. Like, what are the things I'm bringing to the table now, right? And so what I always think is like, people can't really scare me. I've been through so much. I've been through so much trauma. And how many people do you have in your life that you can talk about these weird, deep, dark things with
Yeah,
that aren't going to just run away scared?
and
They're gonna
without judgment,
that can
without
sit with
understanding.
you,
Mm-hmm.
that can sit with you and have these conversations and not pity you and not,
And not judge you.
not judge you. Yeah. Absolutely. Mary says, who is the dark goddess? Does she have a name? We do not work with goddesses. We work with the dark mother. The dark mother is the archetypal embodiment of the divine feminine, right? So we might have the light mother and the dark mother, right? The light and the dark side. But we are going to specifically be working with the dark goddess in this.
Mm-hmm.
Or the dark mother, not the dark goddess, the dark mother. Which is our mother, which is our ancestral mother, really, and our ancestral mother that has been through the pain and trauma of oppression. That's who it really is. It's the spirit
The
of
collective
that.
energy of it. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Maya says, I know I have some deep generational karma that needs some serious work. I've had ancestors showing up lately and readings bringing it up. So if they're showing up for you, that means that they know that you're strong enough to endure that right now. And I believe that truly that they're interceding on your behalf to say that it's time.
Mm-hmm.
You're ready.
They don't show up for a reason.
Yeah.
It's a calling. And the dark goddess and the dark mother doesn't call to people who aren't ready, because
Yeah, you might flirt and
be
dance
clear.
with her for a little while.
They know what you're capable of. They
Yeah.
see power in you that you may not see in yourself yet. So
Yeah.
if they're showing up, they are nudging you to take that step that might scare the hell out of you. But they know what you're capable of doing.
Nothing like hearing the dark mother booming in your
Oh God.
ear
And it never goes
about
away.
something. Yeah.
I'm here to
She'll harp
tell
on you
you,
for a little while.
I'm here to tell you it will never go away until you honor yourself and honor the dark mother. She will never go away
Yeah.
until you step
Maya
into that.
says terrified. But it's a good kind of
It's
scared because you
good.
start
Change and power
realizing
can be scary.
power can be scary. And that's what we're here to help you with is as being able to build a resilient protection of energy around you so that you can face this and you can not be scared of it anymore. Because imagine what you could accomplish in your life if you're not scared of
Yeah.
using Ouija boards, if you're not scared of inhuman contact, if you're not scared of having conversations with demons and angels. Um, for the record, angels are way more scary to work with
I don't,
than
I'm
demons.
terrified.
Angels are psychopaths,
I'm
absolute psychopaths.
terrified of working with angels. I would rather work with a demon any day. Angels terrify me.
Absolutely. I have had the dark mother. Mary says, hopefully not right in my ear. That's when I know my name is being put down. The other day, I woke up out of a dead sleep. I heard, Christina. And it was this loud feminine voice. And she literally woke me up out of bed. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, it's time to start your day. And I was like, okay,
Let's go. What are we
let's
doing
go.
today?
Let's go. Yeah. Okay. I want to just take a moment and thank every single person who has joined us today, whether you're watching the live or we're watching the replay of this. We see you, we witness you, we encourage you to join the Coven. We want to be your magical siblings. We want to help you. And we want to build up this Coven in a way that you also are going to be contributing to it. You're going to be able to help us form it and bring up certain areas within the Coven that maybe you want to take up the mantle on certain things too and lead certain conversations and things like that. So this is definitely magic, but it's also leadership training and it's ancestral healing as well. And just being here and listening to this talk with us and discussing how the witch wound keeps us from showing up and keeps us from being powerful. that in itself is a really brave first act. So I just want to commend everybody who's listening and participating and writing in comments and sharing about their story. We've had a lot of amazing women and people that have been coming on and sharing things I haven't even been able to read because there's so many comments coming through. So after we're done, we're going to go back in and read through the comments. And I'm also going to get the lovely people that have enrolled now into the Discord. So stick around and add me on Discord. I will be here for the next 30 minutes to get everybody in. After that, then I will come back in tomorrow and pick up where we left off. So please don't. Oh yes, the Blackthorn. Where does the Blackthorn even come from? It's a Blackthorn tree. So if you've never heard of a Blackthorn before, a Blackthorn tree before, Google it. It's a Blackthorn tree. It's a thorned tree. It produces white flowers. It's been used in magic for since ancient
That's one of the most powerful ones you can get is if you make it out of the Blackthorn tree.
Yeah. And so there would be ancient rites where you would, young priestesses and acolytes would have to go through the Blackthorn.
We need to get Blackthorn wand.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, for sure. So we need to figure out where we can get some we need the Blackthorn hookup. Yeah, that would be really cool. All right. We want to thank everybody for coming. And please, if you have questions, message me or Z privately or leave it as a comment. We'll be back to this video ongoing. Remember, our first session starts February 28th. It will be recorded. Everything's going to be recorded. Well, if you can't make it live, that's okay. That's all right. We get it. But we do want to ensure that you are going through the initiation process. So understand that if you enroll, there's going to be some effort required of you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Surprise.
Yep. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for coming. We'll see you in the Blackthorn Coven.
All right. See y'all there.